Hey y'all. I know that if you are clicking on this video, then you already know we have a lot to talk about, do we not? With Love Meghan Season 2 premiered today. I'm going to be sharing some of my thoughts, but that's going to be in a later video because first and foremost, we have to talk about Meghan's sit down with Emily Chang for Bloomberg Originals. It was a 45-minute interview and there were so many gems, so many insightful talking points, and we did get to see more of Meghan the businesswoman, but also Meghan the woman, the mom, the celebrity, the public figure, the royal, just Meghan as Meghan. And that is a multifaceted human being. And I love that she continues to show up authentically. We also have to talk about the new product drop from As Ever. More Napa Valley Rosé is available. More products are available and new products are available. As a matter of fact, before you get into this video, if you have yet to go get your products, pause this video or open up a new tab or a new screen and listen to me while you go get your products right now before the squad buys it out. Y'all already know how the squad gets down. I'm not going to try to change the beast. I'm just going to get in there where I can. And don't forget to get your products before there's nothing left but tumbleweeds and keepsake boxes. Now, go ahead and get your stuff. But if you've already gotten your stuff or you're going to get it while you listen to me, that's fine too. We have to get into this interview. There's so much to discuss, so let's get started. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Meghan's interview with Emily Chang for Bloomberg Originals. It was 45 minutes. There was so much to talk about. Some of the things that she talked about, I feel like I already knew, but I did appreciate some of the confirmations and some of the gems that she dropped in this interview. I always appreciate Meghan's interviews. She does a really great job of just bringing herself to the table and just being an open book. So she does a really great job of that, but she always asserts her boundaries. I actually love that they mentioned that she did not share the sales figures for the Napa Valley Rosé or just As Ever in general, and good for her. It's still a very young company, and that information should not be public knowledge right now, in my personal opinion. It's not a publicly traded company, and they're still growing, they're still learning, they're in their infancy, and these are the moments where they are hunkering down and building from this information and this data. I don't know that that's necessary to be consumed by the public. I don't think that was necessary either. So I agree with that decision for them to keep that private. They're still building, they're still growing, but what you do know is they sell out every time. That's really all you need to worry about. We have so much to get into, but before we do, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. So this interview started off at Godmother's Bookstore, and you clearly know all about Godmother's Bookstore because not only have other channels talked about it, but we have talked about it as well. It's essentially the town square of Montecito, and we actually talked about the opening where both Meghan and Harry were present. Meghan gave a speech. We've actually seen Meghan there several times, and she's given 2 different speeches at this point, to my knowledge, maybe more, but we have seen footage of her giving 2 separate speeches, which is super cool. But she's not the only celebrity or public figure that loves godmothers. It's kind of like a magnet for public figures and celebrities to commune comfortably and safely. And as a matter of fact, Meghan did say it was a safe space for her. Now, that was really cute. I can imagine. I love safe spaces, especially spaces now where you can actually join in your community. We just don't have enough of those anymore. And I can't imagine how limited that would be for a celebrity or a public figure. We are kind of scarce as just normal people. We used to have so many places that we would see our family and community, like church, the grocery store, bookstores, the library, beauty shops. Like, we had so many places where we would actually be amongst our own and get to commune. And now a lot of that is virtual. A lot of that is done through couriers. A lot of that is now shutting down. I mean, at this point, a lot of libraries are even being defunded. So we don't have a lot of those places. Even beauty shops are now salon suites, and there's no problem there, but it is nice when I do go into a salon and there's a waiting area and people are there talking and chatting and not on their phone and things like that. So we are limited in those spaces, and I'm pretty sure even more limited for celebrities. More to that fact, Meghan mentioned that Montecito itself is essentially a safe space for her. It's where she can feel normal. It's where she can feel like she's part of the community, and it's a place where she can still dream. I just thought that was so cute. I was like, that's a really sweet and also very overlooked aspect to where you thrive. When I sat and thought about that, I actually paused the interview to really give that some thought. And I was like, she probably doesn't have a lot of places like that outside of her own home, and places that are integral to her, like her friends' houses, family homes, and things like that that are personal. She probably doesn't have a lot of places where she can have a clear mind and a clear spirit, because she probably has to be on guard all the time. Outside of Montecito, it's game on for a lot of people. A lot of people don't respect boundaries. A lot of people are always looking to, one, get some kind of clout by being in proximity to her or other celebrities and public figures. And Montecito is one of those places where there are a lot of public figures and a lot of celebrities, so much so that you're not really a celebrity there because there's always a celebrity there. And so you're probably no longer enthused about like, oh my gosh, Oprah is at that table or Meghan is at that table. Like, it's probably not a big deal because you see these people all the time. And if you live there, you're probably in a position where you're in proximity to these people or people like them often. So it's probably not a shiny new thing to you. And so I love that they live in a community and an environment that not only allows for them to just be human and not have to be incognito when they go somewhere, or not have to have processes and procedures for getting in and out of an establishment. She can sit down for a burger. She can go to the bookstore. She can stop and get something from a food truck, and it's no big deal. How limited is she in those spaces? And probably very limited. So I'm really glad that she, Harry, and everyone else who lives there and gains from that benefit, I'm glad they have that. It's also one of the reasons why when those YouTubers were making statements like they were going to grab a group of people on a bus and follow her around and try to go to her house and then go to all the spots where she frequents, that kind of intrusion on your peace is evil. It's also illegal, which is why we reported their asses and that little plan went kaput. But that kind of intrusion on your peace is just outright evil. Another topic that came up was owning your own story. Meghan said owning your story is the most important thing in the world, and it absolutely is. And over the years, especially in these last 3 or so years, we've really seen Meghan just kind of take control of her narrative. And she's done it in such a savvy and strategic way where she's not taking control by convincing people of who she is. As a matter of fact, she's doing the opposite. She's just being courageous enough to show up and let you feel and think whatever the hell you want to feel and think. And there is nothing more powerful or impactful than that. A person, but especially a woman who stands in her truth and stands in her own knowing, as she stated, and says, all I have to do is show up and be me. You'll see it for yourself. I don't have to convince you of anything. There is something so powerful about that, because at the end of the day, who are you to qualify or validate me in any way? I don't have to convince you of anything. If you are not going to like me, you are not going to like me one way or the other. If I feel like I have to perform my best traits, then you've already won, because I'm twisting and turning myself into God knows what just so that you can be appeased, and you're not going to be appeased anyway. If you are hell-bent on disliking someone or judging someone or putting them down or creating a caricature of them for your own gain, which she touched on, you're going to do that anyway. Except now, if I'm performing, you now have the satisfaction of knowing you got in my head. Hell no. Either like it or don't. And Meghan, I completely agree with you. I also love that she said the more comfortable you get with yourself, and age helps. She did mention that when you anchor into your own being, you can tell your own story and you can show up as yourself. You don't have to perform. You don't have to convince anyone of anything. You can just show up in the world authentically. More to that conversation, Meghan talks about your character. No matter what you do, what role you're playing, what phase of life you're in, what age you are, while your habits and behaviors may change, your character is a constant. Your character is who you are at your core. And I could not agree more. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite quotes is from Jay-Z. No matter where you go, you are who you are. Abso-freaking-lutely, because in every role, you will either play up or play down traits to exist and acclimate to that environment, and that happens. But who you are will always resonate. That's the one consistent thing. Now, if you are not proud of who you are, if you are not proud of what people walk away feeling or thinking about you, the only person who can really change that is you. And that takes intention and time and effort. Some people really want the benefits of being seen as a good person, but they don't really want to be a good person. Some people want the benefits of being seen in a certain light, or being remembered in a certain light, or being spoken about in a certain light, but then they themselves are the antithesis of that. Prince William comes to mind when I say that. Kate Middleton comes to mind when I say that. Charles comes to mind when I say that. I don't think Camilla cares how people talk about her. I think she know that the jig is up for her. She know we gonna talk our shit. She don't care about that no more. I don't even think she care about her representative. I think she just want people to leave her alone as much as possible. But I don't think there are any delusions that that lady is even semi a good person, and she don't try to fake it no more. She just ugly and rude and nasty inside and out, and she always has been. But for everybody else, there seems to be this hang up about how they're perceived, and they spend so much time and effort trying to calculate and strategize and create these narratives using the media, using word of mouth, using their friends and their connections, and these powerful, high-profile people to tell their tale for them so that they can curate an image that they want people to buy into instead of simply just being a good person. If you have to convince people, then you need to ask yourself, am I really the thing that I'm trying to convince people that I am? Because if so, then why do I need to convince anybody? Meghan hit the nail on the head with that character comment. And the thing is, she was only talking about herself. She was only talking about her own character. But when she made that comment, that is exactly what came to mind. Yes, your character is who you are, which is why you don't have to waste any time. And you damn sure don't have to give people the satisfaction of knowing it got in your head trying to convince them of anything. They then get into the conversation about With Love Meghan and the response from the internet and critics, etc. People mocking her and making fun of her, and then people loving it like us and praising it and talking about how great it is and really enjoying it. And how does she feel about the praise and the pushback? And she is not really tuned in. She wasn't really aware of the pushback because she's already accepted there will be pushback. People will pick it apart. People will pick me apart. People pick everybody apart. If there's something to say, somebody's going to say it. They're going to find something. She's accepted it. There is something so powerful of just living in acceptance. Like, they're going to do what they do because that's what they do. I'm not going to waste my time. She's very clear. I love that she was very authentic in saying, who would want to sit around and look at criticisms about themselves? Not me. It's probably very damaging as well. No one should just take in a whole bunch of negative commentary about themselves, especially when the commentary is rooted in bullshit. Now, if someone is giving you constructive feedback, there's a big difference between constructive feedback and cutting someone down. And if it's constructive, then it's not going to cut. Those are two different things. People seem to think being brutally honest is a necessity, and it's not. Being brutally honest is needlessly cruel. You can always give feedback, but correct with kindness. That is my rule. If your way of correcting me is cutting, if it's insulting, if it's hurtful, I don't need to get it from you. You are not the teacher that's been assigned to me for this lesson. I will get it elsewhere. Let me be wrong in peace until someone with some damn sense can inform me and correct me. But correcting and being cutting is not necessary. Being brutal is never necessary in any environment, especially supposedly a constructive one. And so I appreciate that she tunes out. Y'all do not have the satisfaction of getting in that lady's head. She also is fully aware of who she is and why she does what she does. You cannot tell somebody who they are when they already know. Because if you don't show up in the world and tell the world who you are, the world will tell you who you are. And it will contort and do everything it can to make you believe that. And unfortunately, not enough people know that they validate themselves and they fall right into that trap. It's very, very sad, but that's beside the point. Meghan is not one of those people. I love that she says she knows her why. She knows why she does the show. It's to be authentic. It's to be true to herself. And it's to show the things and share the things that she loves. Those who get it, get it. And those who don't, they weren't going to get it anyway. Now, here was an interesting part of the interview when Emily Chang asked her about her 2016 comments on Trump.
The comments that Meghan made about Trump, she stood by them. She didn't say anything like, oh, I'll take them back. She said that's how she felt at the time. And at the time, she felt very comfortable saying exactly how she felt. She decides to speak up or say what she wants to say. It is always a choice that she still has. She has a choice to make about what matters to her. But at that point, it was a different time. And she's excited to be on the show. And she felt like anything that was necessary to say, she was going to say it. But where she's at right now, she doesn't feel that way. Right where she's at right now, she knows that there's a choice to make. And I feel like that was a loaded answer because yes, it's a choice to make. Anytime you speak up, anytime you use your voice, you're making a choice. But Meghan in 2016 and Meghan in 2025, damn near 10 years later, it's been about 9 and some change. Yes, her life has changed a lot. But what's also happened in that time is the way that you exercise your rights and the way that you exercise your voice back then is very different because you probably don't have the same amount of resources and access that you have now. So I don't think for a second that Meghan no longer uses her voice. I think she's being strategic. Just like Emily Chang said, she has a lot of access, a lot of resources. There's a lot that she can actually simply do without having to say into a microphone and get a lot more impact. And I'm pretty sure she's doing that. As a matter of fact, we know she's doing that. When she and Gloria Steinem were making phone calls for paid parental leave, we've seen her be an activist because that's who you are. That's in you. No matter what role you play, you are who you are. As a matter of fact, when Meghan was entering the royal family, they were mad at her for talking about the Me Too movement. It didn't stop from talking about it. So clearly, every time she uses her voice is a choice, but the way she opts to use her voice is a choice. And I hope we aren't just siloing that to Meghan. That's a choice that we all have to make. Talking to a woman now who has been essentially under fire for breathing for almost 10 years now. You're talking about a woman now whose children are being memed and threatened. You're talking about a woman now whose own in-laws conspired against her and tried to drive her to harm herself. You're talking about a woman now who has seen a lot of trauma and survived every last bit of it. But you're talking about a woman now who might be actually in a much more vulnerable place because she's so visible now, because of her relationships now, because she is who she is now. And there might be more on the line versus saying into a microphone. She might be doing it in a way that get directly to the source. We don't know. And that's what comes from making those choices, making smart strategic choices. Like Emily Chang said, that's important. I think people forget that even when Meghan was an actress, she had an entire parallel career as a public speaker who was an activist and advocating for vulnerable parties in vulnerable, under-resourced areas. She's always been an activist and an advocate for human rights. Using her voice is what she does. And even in the royal family, she didn't shy away from that. Again, she became more strategic. She recognized where the boundaries were and said, cool, I'll figure out how I can do this, how I can go about it, but I'm still going to go about it. Good for her. I love that Emily Chang didn't really shy away from asking those questions, because I don't know that I would feel comfortable asking men that. I would worry that I'm putting her on the spot. I would worry. It actually seemed like she didn't mind answering at all. She just was like, okay, here's my answer. She's just casual. She was asked what she learned about herself since becoming Sussex. And she says, no matter what her name is or was or what people call her, she's still just going to be her. And I like she broke down dukedom and how that changes your name. But essentially, she just explained what I feel is common knowledge. But I also say that 3.5 years into covering royal stuff, and I've learned so much. There was so much I didn't know when I first started talking about Harry and Meghan. And now I've done so much research and had so much exposure that some of this feels obvious to me. But when she simply said, when I got married, my name changed, I was like, why are people tripping off that? Like, why is that such a hard concept for people to understand? So there are those of us like myself who don't change their name, but it's pretty standard a lot of places, most places, to simply change your name when you get married. I don't know why when it comes to Meghan, people literally just take their common sense and critical thinking and they put it to the side, and then they refill that empty space with audacity and nonsense. That's truly what I think happens. They siphon it out with a hose like gas. When people used to steal gas, they siphon out the common sense and critical thinking out of their brain, pour it into the gutter. Don't need it anymore when it comes to Meghan. And then what they're going to do is take a lot of audacity and just sprinkle it at the top and close it back up, and they're just going to go with that. Because why? Since when is it a foreign concept that your name changes when you get married? Oh, yes, her name did not change to Meghan Jones or Meghan Smith. It changed to Meghan Duchess of Sussex, but because she's the Duchess of Sussex, because she married a royal. Most of us don't marry royals, so I'm not Duchess of Dallas. The Duchess of Texas. No, I'm not the Duchess of Dallas or the Duchess of Texas. I'm Sharion, enter last name here because I'm a normal person and I marry another normal person. But I can imagine being so confused by that. But there are people who are confused by that. Now, she had mentioned Sussex is their family name, but her legal name is Meghan Duchess of Sussex. Now, I've had people fight with me in the comments. Well, they don't fight with me, they fight with themselves in my comment section and say, well, Sharion, her legal name is Meghan Sussex. And I'm like, no, she literally said this before. I don't know why people are acting like this is new. She said this before. Her actual name is Meghan Duchess of Sussex. She goes by Meghan Sussex. It's a family name. It's okay to call her that. She's fine. It's okay. She's not going to bite your head off. Even when people call her Markle, she doesn't like flip out. But what I don't understand is, why is there an expectation for people to call her Markle when she is a married woman? And I know for a fact, if you know who she is, then you know why her name is Meghan Duchess of Sussex is because she married Prince Harry and became the Duke and Duchess of Sussex on their wedding day, as gifted to them by Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Harry's grandmother and the best, longest reigning monarch of the UK. Once again, she was asked about Meghan effect. Now, again, this is an important topic because it does have a lot of bearing on the way that she operates now with her angel investments and also sharing her actual brands and clothes and what she's wearing. And I love that they shouted out what Meghan wore. I was so excited for them. Now, I wonder when what Meghan wore is going to become a .com, because they've been around for a long time and they're still a .net. I mean, I guess now so many people know of you, it don't matter, but I think they should become a .com. And if somebody is holding on to that, give it to them. Stop. Give it to them so they can have a .com. Damn. Anyway, y'all didn't come here for this. I hope that the next host or interviewers who decide to interview her, please watch her other interviews and then ask her different questions. Now, Emily Chang did ask new questions and fresh questions, but a lot of what Emily Chang asked was already asked before and like recently. So I do hope that we get to a point where we can ask not just Meghan, but other celebrities too, like try to change it up a bit. Like, if you already know she's talked about the Meghan effect, she's given all this same information, why are you asking about it? It's literally in ink. She sat down with Forbes. So like, you don't necessarily have to keep repeating the same question. She's been asked about the Meghan effect a lot, like damn near every interview. And she's been sharing about the angel investments and the impact of the Meghan effect and her intention behind using that to help people. And I think that's beautiful, but we have that on the record like 5 or 6 times now. I do think interviewers should kind of switch it up a little bit, but anything that's essentially female founded and empowering and things like that, uplifting, she's looking to move into that space. That's essentially what she's already doing. She's just looking to do more of that. But she did talk about AI, and I actually like the way that she discussed kind of discovering ChatGPT and how powerful it is. But also, she said exactly my issue with ChatGPT and just AI in general. Don't let it think for you. You have to use critical thinking. I actually never really got on the AI thing. I don't use AI. Was one of those people that's like, you need to research. If you need a book, I will buy you any book in the world. She used to say that all the time. She's like, if you need a book, you need to research, I will buy you any book. I don't care how much it costs. If you need it, I will buy it, but you need to read. And I was forced to use my free time to research and use a library and use encyclopedias and stuff. And that was kind of reinforced throughout everyone in my family. So I'm a person who truly values using my brain. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I fully get Meghan on that. Like, don't lose the ability to critically think. And Meghan, I hate to be the one to tell you this because I know you're tuned out. And good for you, girl. Stay. It's probably a lot more peaceful where she is. But girl, people out here are crazy. And they are doing any and everything they can to not think for themselves. And honestly, I think even when they do think for themselves, they're not that bright. So AI might actually be a leg up for some people because some people's brains really are mush, i.e. your haters. So some people need AI. I did appreciate what she said. Don't lose the ability to think critically. Yes. ChatGPT, I don't have a problem with it. And I like that she said we have to make peace with it because times they are changing. We have to move with the times. You know, you have to evolve, make peace with it. You can't dig your heels in and stay stuck in the past. No, I agree with her there. But I love that she made a point to say, think for yourself. She also shouted out Tom Colicchio's book, Think Like a Chef. I've actually never read that, but I'm a big fan of Tom Colicchio. I love Top Chef. So I actually ordered that and I cannot wait to start reading it. That sounds like a really good book too. I didn't even know he read books. So anyway, thanks for that shout out, Meghan. But critically and think for yourself. Also, getting ChatGPT recipes. I didn't even know that was a thing either until Emily Chang mentioned that. Now I can see using ChatGPT to make suggestions to make your recipe better, I guess, because it can kind of, it can crawl the internet, find little things, but that's part of the fun of cooking, which is what Megan kind of mentioned, like being creative and trying new things and finding what works for you. That's part of the process. We're losing the beauty in our processes. Like taking the scenic route has benefits. Taking the scenic route teaches us not only about whatever we're seeking, but also about ourselves. We can't get so operationally efficient that we miss life's lessons in these little moments. I think anybody who doesn't get Meghan on that also don't get Meghan on the thing that she said about Montecito, which is it's a place where she can still dream and she can still be normal. I think if you are one, you're not the other, because yes, operational efficiency is great. And I think in the context of like careers and like work and things like that and assembly lines and like as far as operational efficiency in the workplace, I think that's great. But I myself, someone who returned to university, I have seen how AI has had a very negative impact on college. I think there is room to utilize AI, but also we still have to remember we're human and there is nothing like the human touch. There's nothing like human intellect. There's nothing like critical thinking. And please use your brain. Use your brain, exercise your brain, exercise those neural pathways so they don't disappear and disconnect. Like try new things, practice new things, create new habits, create new neural pathways, build and bolster your brain. I also really loved what she said about people making their own money, but especially women making their own money and making practical choices based on their understanding of money and always enhancing their understanding of money and being self-reliant, making practical choices that don't depend on another person. I could not agree more. And then lastly, I thought this was so cute. They brought Meghan some frozen yogurt from the place where she worked for the first time. Her first job was Humphrey Yogurt. And she's actually mentioned this a couple of times before too. But they brought her some frozen yogurt and they tried it and she was enjoying it. And so was Emily. Emily Chang didn't like, she liked it at first. She made this like face, but she said it was just her processing it being tart. Now, hey, I don't know about y'all, but some people are either sweet or either tart. I'm equal parts both.
Thank you so much for watching the SharionSade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video.
Overall, this is a really good interview. I really like that Meghan just answered the questions. She doesn't seem to have any airs about her, so I'm not surprised, but it's always refreshing seeing somebody who's just willing to talk and is willing to answer succinctly, directly, very concise, but direct answers. She doesn't beat around the bush. This is a great interview. If you have not gotten your product from asever.com, they're probably already gone by now. Let's hope they're not. But if they're not, go over there to asever.com and get your products before it's nothing left but tumbleweeds. Tomorrow, tune in for Love Meghan Season 2, Episode 1 recap. I am so freaking excited. That's all I have for y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.
As I was wrapping up this recap, I wanted to share something that Meghan shared on her Instagram. So obviously, you know, With Love Meghan Season 2 premiered today, and we will start our recaps tomorrow to make room to talk about this interview today. But on her Instagram, she's been promoting With Love Meghan Season 2. All the episodes are up on Netflix. But she also shared this very sweet picture that Prince Harry surprised her with today of Guy. It is beautiful. It's this amazing portrait. And we get a little glimpse of Lily in the picture or in the video as well. But it is such a beautiful picture of Guy. And I thought it was so timely because Guy is also in Season 2 of With Love Meghan. And as we were watching Patreon, you'll see this because you obviously see me watch in live react. But it was so good to see Guy and see him documented in some of the episodes. And I love that Prince Harry did this for Meghan. This was so sweet and heartwarming. And I wanted to share this before we closed out the video.
Lobster. Come over here, baby.
Called it baby.
We go there. You need to be very careful because they call it the spiny lobster for a reason, because it's really spiny. Now, this head, we're gonna cut it in the middle. We put it right here. We do the other cut the other way. And right here, you have the lobster cut in half.
Well done.
Are you okay? Yeah.
I'm good. I could do it. Look, if it's a fish, I can somehow get involved. I don't know when.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day,
It's the circle of life.
it's the circle of life. I'm gonna cut the medallions like this in half, you see?
Do you know who doesn't like lobster?
Who?
My husband.
No way. And you marry him?